Welcome into Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. It is Tuesday. I hope you have all gone and read the anonymous mailbag. It is outstanding. It will entertain you. This is Outkick the Show. I wanted to wait a little bit later today until the last minute. If you guys would hop into the comments and let me know if there are any trade news that breaks in the next 15 minutes as we are live. I wanted to wait and make sure nothing massive was going to happen. The NFL trade deadline is officially today at 4 Eastern in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to talk about all the trade deadline moves that we have seen already and everything surrounding those. But right off the top here, I want to tell you need to go to sportsbookreview.com. Make sure that you get the best possible gambling number wherever you might be across the entire country. I also want to tell you, my guy Ryan Kelly at The Home Loan Expert has made unbelievable moves. He's added so many states. He is the best at getting your mortgage done quickly, and this is something everybody should be on top of, particularly as we get closer to the beginning of the holiday season. If you got any credit card debt at all, wipe it all out. If you got student loan debt, you can wipe it all out. Get hooked up now with a brand new mortgage that's tax deductible. Replace bad debt for good debt. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. My guy Ryan Kelly. Again, Outkick the Show presented by SportsBookReview.com. All right, let's dive right into it. Dive right into it right now. Right off the top here, we've got a couple of interesting moves that have been made. First of all, we have DeMaryius Thomas going from the Broncos to the Texans. Has there been any discussion about whether he will just switch sides and play against his former team this weekend? Because I think I'm correct. Aren't the Texans going on the road to the Broncos this weekend? Isn't that their game? Surely he would sit out a week, right? Has there been any official statement about that? I believe the Broncos are minus 2.5 in this game. It's crazy to watch what exactly is going to happen. But I don't know what will happen with DeMaryius Thomas being traded. Obviously, Will Fuller was injured in the most recent Texans game. Got to give the Texans props here. Got to give the Houston Texans props for making a move designed to make their team better. You've got a good quarterback in Deshaun Watson. You've already got one of the top 10 wide receivers in the game in DeAndre Hopkins. And now you're going to be able to move DeMaryius Thomas to a number 2 wide receiver. Now, Here is the analysis also I would add for this. DeMaryius Thomas, 30 years old, but I like that. I like that move. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Texans. The wild card here, clearly, is how he'll be able to perform as a number 2 receiver as opposed to a 1. Why do you need to listen to Outkick? Many reasons. We're the most entertaining morning show in the country. We're setting records every month with our listenership and our podcast numbers and everything else. But on top of that, and this is a big deal, my guy Mark Schlereth was on hour 2, and he specifically said, wouldn't surprise me if DeMaryius Thomas went to the Texans for a 4th-round draft pick. Then, boom, it happened. It happened right then and there, and so pretty incredible breakdown this morning. If you happen to be up in hour 2 listening to Outkick, Mark Schlereth came on and told us exactly what was likely to happen there. Also, Golden Tate, if you listen to the show, you know that the receiver that I had pinpointed, that I had said I would like to see the Tennessee Titans add, is Golden Tate. And I thought Golden Tate could be a difference maker. He's from Nashville, yard after the catch guy, would be able to cover a lot of the different field. He's exactly what Mariota needs in terms of like a wide receiving security blanket. Instead, the Eagles step in and go grab him. The Eagles went and grabbed him. I think that was a fantastic move by the Philadelphia Eagles to go get Golden Tate. He will be phenomenal with Carson Wentz. I love that move. I love everything about it. Ty Montgomery, I said this on the show yesterday. I said, look, when the Green Bay Packers tell you, do not run the ball out of the end zone because you have the best current quarterback in the NFL who's going to get the ball with 1:50 seconds left and is going to be able to drive down the field and potentially score to ensure that you win on the road against the LA Rams. Don't run the ball out of the end zone. And then what happened? They decided to run the ball out of the end zone. Ty Montgomery did. He fumbled, and now he's getting traded for a 7th-round pick in a couple of years to the Baltimore Ravens. This is essentially the Green Bay Packers saying, we don't want him at all. We want him gone forever, okay? Here is the other move. You guys are telling me now that Dante Fowler is being traded from the Jags to the Rams. If that is true, that's a massive addition for the Rams on an already stacked defensive line. It's almost unfair to be able to add Dante Fowler to that line. Now, obviously, he hasn't been healthy. Somebody who's a Jags fan can hop in here and tell me about the injuries that Dante Fowler has dealt with since he went to the Jags. It's been just a litany of issues. I know his first year, he tore his ACL before he even played. And so he hasn't ever really been able to pan out because he's never been healthy. But this is a guy that was a big-time playmaker. The Jags get a third-round and a fifth-rounder, according to you guys who are updating me. And if you're just now hopping in, I said if you'll hop in the comments and let me know whether or not there have been any trades, Dante Fowler has a ton. Wow, that's a big move. Ha Clinton-Dix to the Redskins is also a massive move. The Redskins right now 5-2, leading their division in the NFC East. Ha Clinton-Dix was rumored to be on the market. Looks like they are making a move at the last possible minute here as we come up on 10 minutes remaining. That is a big-time play for the Redskins to add him. That is a helicopter dick move by the Washington Redskins designed to say, hey, we see what you did with the Eagles going and getting a brand new receiving weapon in Golden Tate. We see what you did with the Cowboys going and getting Amari Cooper. Well, we're going to add another guy who's going to make our secondary a lot stronger already. The Washington Redskins making a big-time play and a big-time move. If somebody would let me know what the Green Bay Packers got for Ha Clinton-Dix, that's a move that I would think would not make Aaron Rodgers very happy. I can understand the reticence that teams have to trade players during the middle of the season, because what you're effectively saying halfway through is, we don't believe that this team is good enough right now to contend for a championship. That's a big-time playmaker to decide to trade away. Many of you saying the Redskins have a lot of Bama players. There's no doubt at all. Just keep us updated as we go down. By the way, I will be on live on FS1 on our Lock It In show, which I appreciate all of you supporting. Continues to grow pretty organically. I am intrigued to see how much we're going to be able to continue to grow, but also whether there are any last-minute additional moves that are going to change, kind of upset the apple cart of expectations in all the divisions. It sounds like the Redskins are making big moves. It sounds like the Texans are making big moves. And it sounds like the Eagles have made big moves today. Everybody is making a move. Somebody said, no one's watching your show. First of all, I'm going to block you, all right? Secondly, we are up 70% in viewership. The way to think about Lock It In is you have to think about it as a long-range play on the growth of sports gambling. Only about 25% of sports TV viewers right now gamble regularly on sports. So our goal is to go grab all of those people, to continue to grow the overall audience that embraces sports gambling, and to provide an audience for for advertisers. And that's why the show is already profitable, because we're in on the vanguard of this move, all right? So it's going to continue to grow in the years ahead, but I don't like people who come out and say, oh, nobody does this, nobody does that. Look, here's the truth. I started at zero. There are very few people out there that can say they literally started at zero. I started writing online with an audience of zero. Now we reach millions of people every week through radio, through TV, through every other possible way. It's amazing. It's amazing how much we have grown and all the different mediums that I've grown in. How many other people do you know doing a daily Facebook, doing a daily Periscope, daily radio, daily television, and writing? I don't think there's anybody else in sports media doing all those different things. They all grow together, and that doesn't count social media or anything else. So I appreciate those of you out there who have been with me since the very beginning, but I don't really focus on immediate responses. I focus on long-range impact. There is nobody else even remotely approaching the daily audience that I deliver on national radio, on national television, on Periscope, and on Facebook on top of it, on a website, and all of those different aspects. I mean, frankly, I don't even know if there's anybody close to doing as much. So when you start at zero, you spend a lot less time. Toss in the book, best-selling book, all those other things. They all feed off of each other. So if I happen to look over and see somebody who's just bathing and marinating in negativity, I might decide to block you. Because why should I allow your commentary to continue when you are obviously behaving like a mosquito dick, and this is a helicopter dick world? So this is all true. Somebody said, first of all, I don't know how somebody knows who my wife votes for. Yeah, I frequently vote different than my wife. I know this is going to shock you. But my wife and I don't agree on every political decision that has ever been made. She voted for Hillary Clinton. I voted for Gary Johnson. So some people make decisions that are different than mine. I don't understand why that would be shocking. Maybe you're not married. Maybe you don't date. Maybe you've never put your penis anywhere near a vagina. But it's very commonplace for men and women to often have different opinions on who should be supporting who you should be supporting in a political election. So this is the truth. I try to be as honest as I possibly can every single day. I tell you exactly what I'm going to do. And I guess some of you out there with mosquito dicks, you don't know how the real world works. So I'm just telling you the truth. That is the move that I will make. All right. A couple of minutes here left. Final 6 minutes. Keep me updated on Winnie, whether there is going to be any substantial move right there, and make sure that if there's an NFL trade deadline move, you can come in and you can let me know. All right? Top 5, bottom 5 in the NFL. Top 5, Rams, Chiefs, Saints, Patriots, and Chargers. Those are the 5 best teams in the NFL. Rams, Chiefs, Saints, Patriots, Chargers. Also, bottom 5, Bills, Browns, Giants, Raiders, and 49ers. Those are my top 5. Those are my bottom 5. What else did I say I was going to talk about here? I told you I was going to talk about The Athletic raising $40 million more. The Athletic now has an established value. Ha Clinton-Dix, you guys are telling me in the comments, going to be going to the Redskins for a 5th-round pick. That seems like a great deal. I don't know what his contract situation is, but a 5th-round pick would suggest, again, I'm doing this on the fly, that Ha Clinton-Dix's deal is up soon. So that would make sense soon. Respect the picks, guy. Got to go. All right. The picks are doing phenomenally well on college football this year. You're making a lot of money if you've just taken every pick that has gone so far. Again, NFL trade deadline. We're reacting live to everything that is in play here. Okay. The Athletic has raised $200 million now, $200 million valuation. I believe they have raised $70 million. This is, right in my wheelhouse. Sports media, gambling, everything else based on this situation in general. Man, I find it hard to believe that company is worth $200 million. Now, they haven't released their subscriber numbers. They haven't released their growth rate. They haven't released anything about whether or not they are profitable. I will just tell you this. I have never wanted to take venture capital money because I've always wanted to be profitable from the first year that I started my company. So when I started Outkick in 2011, I didn't scale up. I didn't go hire a ton of people. I didn't try to get big and bring in all this money so I could go out and pay other people millions of dollars before I made a dollar. I have created a multi-million-dollar business that is very profitable, and I've been profitable since day one. Now, you could criticize me. Certainly, my way might not be the best way. You could say, and I own 100% of my company, by the way, you could say, Clay, you should have gone out, raised a bunch of venture capital money. You could have spread $10 million all over the place. You could have hired a bunch of people. You could have argued that your valuation should be X because your revenue was Y, but I would still not have created a profit. And so what I would be selling is the idea that one day I would be worth millions of dollars as a business, maybe $100 million, right? If you get to a $200 million valuation in a media business, even if it's a subscription media business, in my mind, and some of you are much better at business, I do back of the envelope math, right? I look at ideas and do back of the envelope math. In my mind, that means you have to be able to be consistently producing around, $60 million, $50, $40 million, $30 million a year of profit, and you have to be growing at it at a high rate. That's my math in general. I'm valuing this company at around 7 times revenue, right, which is pretty high. Most media companies are typically valued in between 6 to 8 times the multiple, okay? So I am just roughly saying if they are valuing this company right now at $200 million, they have to be selling them on the idea that eventually they're going to be making $30 million a year in profit. That's a lot of subscribers, okay? In order to get to $30 million a year in profit, you have to get to a lot of subscribers. Moreover, I know for a fact that the cost of writers is insanely high, okay? If you employ all these writers, you can say it's one thing. Let's say you pay the average writer $100,000, okay, to cover a team. I guarantee you for most of these teams, they then have another $25,000 or $50,000 in expenses a year, depending on whether they're baseball, football, NHL, NFL, all of that different aspect of the story, right? Because if you're going to go on the road, which otherwise, why would I pay for your content if you're not on the road for every game? That's 80 days on the road for Major League Baseball, for instance. Even for something like the NFL, it's 8 different trips in the middle of the season. It's a huge cost. It's a massive cost, and I don't see the overall profitability associated with it. So even if you like the content, I also question, and this is just me, I also question as somebody who's in the industry, what am I getting that otherwise isn't available elsewhere? What unique content what's their secret sauce at The Athletic, right? To me, the secret sauce of 24/7 and Rivals is recruiting. If you tell me I will give you the most updated recruiting news for my favorite team and nobody else is going to have that info and you will be the most informed, that is something that I need. I don't buy the fact, for instance, and I just use the teams that I follow. I don't think there is any Tennessee Titans news that I don't already have, right? I think that I know everything about the Tennessee Titans. I don't think there is anything about the University of Tennessee that I don't already know. There's no great need, I don't believe, for more coverage of the Tennessee Titans and of the University of Tennessee. Now, it might well be that there is a great demand for the Nashville Predators. I don't consume much of their content. If you are a Florida Panthers fan or whatever the heck they're called, there may be a lot of NHL team news that you want that isn't covered by your local media. So it's a 4th round pick. So I think that factors in. I don't believe that you need. But their sauce is that you get coverage of all sports and you don't need another service. I don't need that now. What coverage do I need now that I don't get? I can pull up ESPN.com and I can go through my Twitter feed and I can follow anybody and get the most updated news I need about any team for free instantaneously. So I don't buy into, again, this doesn't mean that I'm right. I don't buy into the idea that they are providing something unique that I can't find anywhere else. Okay? That's my general perspective on it. And by the way, we have reached the NFL trade deadline. So if there's any news that comes out in the next couple of minutes, let me know. So again, I don't buy into having to have it. Now, doesn't mean that some people might not want it. And I root for them to be successful. Look, if The Athletic is worth $200 million, then what I have created is worth $20 million, right? And I own 100% of it. So I'm not going to complain about high-level multiples for sports media companies. And I hope The Athletic turns into a billion-dollar company because a rising tide lifts all boats. If The Athletic ends up being worth $500 million, a lot of people are going to look around and say, hey, what else could be a $500 million business? Who has a big audience that we could scale subscriber-wise? People are immediately going to alight on me. They're going to alight on The Ringer. I think they'll probably alight on Barstool. There aren't that many of them. So I don't root against that company succeeding. I am just skeptical that it's going to work, given that I'm not particularly in that marketplace for demand, right? Maybe you are. Maybe tons of you out there are subscribers to The Athletic. I'm not. I am a Rival subscriber, and I get information that I can't get elsewhere. I like the idea. Look, maybe The Athletic is right. If The Athletic is worth $200 million, then maybe I should just put everything that I do on Outkick behind a paywall. we signed up several thousand people for Outkick VIP. If I put the anonymous mailbag and if I put all my gambling picks, and if the only way you could read anything that I do is by subscribing to a subscription model, and you had to pay $100 a year for everything that we do at Outkick, maybe that's the play I should follow. You know, the simple math there would be, can I get 10,000 people to sign up and pay $100 a year? I think I probably could do that and do $1 million a year in subscriber revenue just based off of Outkick, and still be doing Periscopes and Facebooks and Twitter and radio and television all for free. So I think that would be an intriguing model. And maybe that's the answer. Maybe that is the answer. And look, I am rooting for the Athletic to follow and to succeed. And I certainly will follow any business that I think makes sense for me going forward. But so far I haven't done it. So far, everything that I've ever written online has been free. And I don't know how many people can say that. 15 years, I've never charged $1 for anything that I've ever put online. And so maybe that's the answer. My readership would go down, but the quality of the interaction on the site would probably increase. So look, I'll monitor the Athletic and see how their growth is going, and see whether or not it makes sense for the future. But I don't feel bad about putting things behind paywall. It's not that I'm opposed to it. It's just that for my business so far, it hasn't made sense to put everything behind a paywall. So maybe the answer is that I should put everything behind a paywall. And if you want to read my written content, you have to be a subscriber. People will bitch and they will moan. But, you know, maybe that's the answer. I'm not sure 100%. But it is certainly worth contemplating. Okay, I've got to go and sit down. Any dollars out there, any more trades that are out there at all, any more trades that are out there that have happened before the end of the trade deadline, I've got to get down and go do my television show. You can watch it on FS1. It's called Lock It In. Me, Cousin Sal, Rachel Bonetta, and Todd Furman. It is going to be awesome. I appreciate all of you. I would not leave Oklahoma. I talked about it earlier. I think I retweeted it. I talked about it on my radio show. I would not leave Oklahoma if I were Lincoln Riley. I love all of you. I appreciate I'm not paying for content, guy. I appreciate, let me say this right now before I go off. I'm going to have a rant on I'm not paying for content, guy. I don't fucking care. Okay? I don't fucking care whether you pay for content or not. I don't know why I won't pay for content, guy feels like he needs to twirl around his little tiny dick and talk about the fact that he won't pay for content. I don't fucking care. Nobody cares whether you will pay for content. You know what you will pay for that I guarantee you once upon a time said I'll never pay for? Water. Who's going to pay for water? Water comes out of the sink for free. Why would I ever pay for water? Billions of motherfuckers pay for water every day in America, even though outside of a few places like Flint, Michigan, the water is perfectly fine coming out of your tap. Okay? Billions of people pay for it all over the world every single day. And it's literally the freest commodity essentially on the planet. Okay? The idea of, you know what other people said? I won't pay for TV. It comes on for free. You know what fucking happened, loser? Cable. And now everybody pays for TV. You know what some people said when Netflix launched? Why would I pay for something on the internet? And now Netflix is a $140 billion company. Okay? I won't pay for it, guy, is the equivalent by far of mosquito dick thinking. That is the line of thinking that leads to you making $34,000 a year in a middle management job for the rest of your life. That is the way that mosquito dicks think. If you want to be a helicopter dick, you don't think about things from that perspective. So don't be a pussy is my number one way of thinking. I won't pay for it, guy, is a pussy. All right? Because basically what you're saying is, I don't make enough money to be able to pay for things that I like. Well, I'm sorry you're poor, but deal with it, pussy. The rest of us with helicopter dicks, we make moves, we buy things that we like, and we live a helicopter dick lifestyle. While you, my friend, sit around with your little mosquito penis trying to inch your way up to go screw the urinal so you can stand as close to it as possible so your penis doesn't dribble out urine because you can't even reach the urinal, you pussy. All right, my name is Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. I am blocking this loser because, first of all, he's bragging about how much money he makes, and he's watching this show for free, so he doesn't get to watch it for free anymore. I love all of you. Don't grow up and dream of driving a Nissan Sentra one day. Don't try and make $34,000 a year. Be a mosquito dick. DBAP, boys and girls, unless, and sometimes it is necessary to, SBAP. I love you guys. I'll see you. This has been Outkick the Show.